Hello everyone from the beachside city of Cannon Beach here in the state of Oregon. And this was kind of just an impromptu kind of visit. My dad and I just decided to suddenly come here and just, see what things look like. But let me go ahead and turn the camera around. And you can kind of see the Oregon coast. So way out over there are some rocks jutting out from the beach, and way off in the distance you can see the marine layer building up fog. In fact, it's kind of hazy even here. But it's a beautiful day if you like the cold weather. Do you want to go down, Dad? All right. I'm going to keep the camera rolling, so feel free to talk. Alright, so just go down these stairs. And, like I said, we started off today just kind of running errands, and we had a lot of extra time. And so I kind of just suggested, I'm like, why don't we go to Cannon Beach? And even though it's kind of the start of winter, but I've been saying, we'll come to this beach for a long time, and I never really made time for it. I thought, why not? But it's really cool. If you look out that way, I like seeing all the huge rocks that just jut out from the coast. And lots of seagulls are out today. And then way over there, shrouded in haze, is Haystack Rock, which is kind of a local attraction here. Now, if you're wondering, why am I vlogging Cannon Beach? What is so special about it? Well, basically, this area has been filmed for lots of movies and documentaries. First thing that comes to my mind is The Goonies. The opening credits and opening scene from the movie The Goonies was filmed here. There's my dad just photographing the horizon. But yeah, I don't know if you can see very well all the fog along the horizon that's just kind of building up. It looks like the world ends just beyond the waves, and there's nothing but sky and clouds, as if the world just kind of drops off over there, which is really cool when you see it with your own eyes. Of course, I have sunglasses on, but still, I can still see it. Yeah, the sun is pretty bright. And I believe, oh wow, you can see some of the waves crashing against those huge rocks on the horizon. That looks so neat. That's so cool. The thing about the Oregon coast that you got to be aware of, and even right now I'm keeping an eye on the coast, is the sneaker waves. They're called sneaker waves, well, probably most likely because when they come in, you don't expect them to suddenly show up. I mean, all the sand that we're standing on, and even the sand on the other side of the river jetty, is soaking wet. And so that could be from sneaker waves that suddenly come in and wash over the area. And sneaker waves aren't generally very deep. They're probably as deep as maybe knee high, but that's deep enough to knock you off your feet, and it'll drag you back out into the ocean, into the rip currents. So it's always wise that when you're on an Oregon beach the dog was chasing the birds. It's always wise that when you're on an Oregon beach to be mindful of the water, and if you see a wave coming in, just always be on the lookout that it could be a sneaker wave, and you may want to run in the opposite direction. So, because it could be just as calm and beautiful as this. Well, I say calm, but just right off the beach there, the water is just roiling. Just, what's the word? It's just kind of going crazy. So, yeah. That's kind of cool. You can see all the seagulls and stuff, but maybe we'll walk closer to Haystack Rock. Like I said, it's huge. It's like, I think it's something like 1,000 feet tall. It's just this giant rock that sticks out from the beach. But there's the, mainland Oregon right there. Lots of forested hills and mountains. And the drive to get here from where we live was just about an hour and a half, which is not the fastest drive, but it was certainly very fun, very scenic. What do you think, Dad? Was the drive scenic?
Yeah.
Yeah, particularly the second half, right? Second half of the drive. Yeah. Lots of trees, lots of patches of fog. That's one of the things about the Pacific Northwest that's kind of really neat is you get these tree-lined hills that in between the hills are patches of really dense fog, and when you're driving through the forests, it just makes for a really interesting... Oh, see this? See this wave here? Suddenly it's coming in. This is a very small sneaker wave. Dad, just be aware that it can come in and it'll just suddenly get really deep. So you see, folks, how fast that water came in, and it's receding, but you always got to be careful because Oregon is known for these sneaker waves. And like I said, I don't know if they call them sneaker waves because they sneak up on you, but that's pretty much what they do. They look so harmless at first, but so many people get caught up in them. And also, just some really good advice for you. If you see a log floating in the water, because that happens occasionally, don't try to get close to it. There was these unfortunate folks not even a year ago that were kind of playing around with this log that was floating up along the shore, and they got crushed by it as the wave came in. And you don't expect that kind of thing to happen, but it does. So but Dad, let's walk closer to Haystack Rock. Hopefully the sunlight doesn't block your guys' view too much, but gosh, it's such a beautiful day. But like I said, just watch out for those sneaker waves. Always keep your eyes on the water. So many people underestimate the beaches here. They just go, oh, it's just a beach. And it is beautiful, and it's great to be walking around out here, but yeah, it can be kind of a problem. So, but yeah, it's really neat. People walking their dogs and stuff, and and when the tide is out, this beach just goes on and on. It's huge. But today it's actually kind of narrow because must be at some kind of high tide or something. Yeah, the moon's just to my left, so there's probably a bit of a high tide. But I'm looking off in the distance, and I can see these huge waves that they look from a distance like hills or mountains, but they're probably huge 30-foot waves. We get those a lot here on the Oregon coast. Very rugged, but that's kind of neat looking at the... Well, I don't think my dad can see it because he's not wearing sunglasses, but the sun, and then you can kind of see the bank of fog on the horizon that's just kind of haloed by the sunlight, and then all the waves shining off of it. It's so cool. But yeah, a lot of folks that watch my channel, they assume that I live in Southern California, and I did for most of my life, but probably, I think it's just about 4 years now I've lived here in Oregon, and I've never looked back. I love it. I mean, there isn't as much, as you would say, like tourist attractions as there were when I lived in Southern California, but frankly, there is a lot of nature here, And that's the part that I really love, is just kind of walking around and seeing the trees, seeing the ocean, and seeing the mountains covered in forests, and lots of hiking trails, lots of natural things to do around here. And then Portland itself, I will admit, at the moment I don't feel quite safe being in Portland for too long. But when you are there, there's lots of different foods you can try, different meals and things you can find, cuisines from all over the world. And if you find the right places, the food is just amazing. They say that Portland is really a place for the foodies. But like I said, I don't really like visiting Portland that often. Ever since the pandemic, it's kind of gotten less safe. But I know measures are currently being implemented to try to make it safer. But we may not see the effects of that for another year or so. But geez, I'm just looking off on the coast there. Some of those waves way back there are absolutely ginormous. But because the coastline is so flat here, you just see rows and rows and rows of waves as far as the eye can see. I gotta switch hands holding this camera here. Oops. Hopefully that didn't change my settings. Oh, got the tilt lock on. There we go. Settings are back to normal. Yeah, there are. You can see, well, I don't know if you guys can see very well through the camera, but there are just tons of people way down there. It's almost like a giant party, but because of how long the beach is, it probably just looks that way from this distance. But so, I remember last time I was here at Cannon Beach, we were here during springtime of 2022, I think, and there were all these globs of, like, what is it called? Tar. Yeah, tar was washing up on the beach. And it was getting everywhere, and people were stepping in it. So here's a view of all the beachside houses along the coast there, and they all get this great view of the sunset. In fact, right now, what time is it? It is 3:41 p.m. and the sun will be setting probably within an hour, because winter here makes the days really, really short. In fact, the sun kind of just rides the edge of the horizon to the south, so throughout the day it kind of looks like sunset all day long, which I think is kind of neat. But it's not so fun when you want to be out and about, but you only have so many hours of daylight to work with. But yeah, as you can probably see, we're getting closer and closer to Haystack Rock. Like I said, I think it's something like 1,000 feet it juts out of the ocean, and it's absolutely huge. So, and everybody comes here to see Haystack Rock. And I want to say, maybe it was earlier this year, a large mountain lion was spotted in the Cannon Beach area, and as they tracked it, it went all the way to Haystack Rock and climbed to the top of the rock, and it was living up there for a while. So the beach was partially closed. I say partially because they were still monitoring where everybody was. But see, look, you can see on the right the water goes way out, and now it's coming back in. So small sneaker waves are coming in. You can see two people on the beach are running away from the wave. but it comes in pretty fast. So like I said, it's fun to be here. By all means, just always keep an eye on the water. And that's what I'm doing. So, what do you think of Cannon Beach, Dad?
Pretty cool. I like it.
Isn't it huge?
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
Great walking.
Yeah, and when the tide is out, you can pretty much walk up to Haystack Rock. That's how far the coast kind of recedes away during low tide. Geez, those waves off in the distance. The water just kind of crashes together and creates these huge clouds of seawater spray that just goes up, but it's incredible. But yeah, there's lots of people down that way. Oh, I love the beach. You know, growing up in Southern California, there were plenty of beaches there, but I never quite liked visiting, you know, Newport or Huntington Beach. It was just always kind of, the water just was kind of dirty. And on the best days, it was really crowded, as I'm sure it gets here, but like I said last time I was here, it was pretty crowded. Okay. See, I'm keeping an eye on this wave coming in. Come on, Dad. Here it comes. It's slowing down, but like I said, it's pretty harmless when you look at it, but the rip current can drag your feet and you'll get pulled right into the water. And believe me, once you get out into those big waves over there, you'll really wish you weren't walking up so close to the water. But on a calmer day, you can see people swimming and people surfing and stuff. But you can see all the locals know to stay away from the water. Well, that too, but it's also cold, I guess. It's not a good day to go swimming anyway. So everybody's wearing their coats and stuff. So yeah, you see the water will just sit back there for quite a while, and you know, and then suddenly it just rolls right on in, and it's cool to look at when it happens, but just always keep your eyes on the water. And it's kind of funny when you walk around the town of Cannon Beach, there's signs everywhere that direct you to tsunami evacuation zones, because theoretically this area could be hit by a rather large tsunami, particularly if we get that really big earthquake, the Cascadia fault line. If it suddenly goes off, we could get some huge tsunamis, probably 100 feet in total height. And so there are maps all over the town to show you where to evacuate to. But we don't really get big earthquakes from the fault lines around here. In fact, I've lived here for 4 years so far, haven't felt a single earthquake. But living in Southern California, you get used to feeling earthquakes all the time. Every 2 or 3 months, there's a small earthquake, big enough that you could feel it. Here we have earthquakes, but you can't really feel them. They're always very small. So yeah. That's particularly why there's a lot of old architecture still surviving around here, is because none of them have been knocked down. by a big enough earthquake. So yeah, there seems to be a huge hotel way over there. So yeah, lots of locals just walking around. It's a nice day, actually. Lots of fresh air too. This morning we were in Portland running some errands. We went to get breakfast burritos at this one place, and it smelled like the exhaust from the nearby freeway. So it's nice to come out here and get fresh air. I feel like the camera's tilted. Let me try to recenter it. Or maybe that's just because of the horizon? I have no idea. The beach is slanted, so it's probably messing with my my view of the camera. This is kind of cool, like the view here with the hazy beach and the sun setting. So we're getting closer to Haystack Rock, and it is covered in trees, but they're very small trees. They don't grow very large because of the high winds this area can get. But it does have trees on it. Not that you'll get to see it because the way the sun is behind it, but you see this? The water on the beach is just churning. Always keep a close eye. Yeah. So this is kind of a nice walk, and it's not hard to walk on this sand. You know, the sand is still somewhat wet, so it's an easy surface to walk on today. And even farther in the distance are more large rocks that are sticking out of the beach. But I'll tell you, one of the things about me is I don't really like the warm weather or the really bright sunny days. So today is actually kind of nice because the sun's still out. You can still see what's going on the beach. But the cold weather and the hazy atmosphere kind of make, for me, a more comfortable walking experience on the beach. So and then maybe what we'll do, if we can, is climb back up onto the city area and then kind of walk up there. I don't see any stairs or anything around here. So, yeah, lots of people out here. So, really nice. If you guys ever get the chance to drive through Oregon, you're taking the Highway 101, this is a good stop because this is right off the highway and it's easy to get to, and there's signs everywhere that point the way to the beach. Do you want to turn back, or what do you want to do?
I want to take a good picture.
Want to get a good picture? All right. We'll see how far we can get. I think this is kind of a drainage stream, but it looks like you could possibly cross it. But
There's a bridge over there.
oh yeah, there is a bridge over there. All right. Yeah, it looks fine. It's kind of a cool spot with the shiny sand. There's Dad. And if you look over that way, you can see the town and some of the mountains with the trees. I say trees a lot, but I love the trees around here. Growing up in Southern California, it was there was concrete everywhere. There was no forest, that's for sure. Southern California is like a desert, so I just love the forests up here. Yeah, let me go ahead and get a selfie. Where's Haystack Rock? I think that's it right there. Hard to see. That bird almost wanted to take my camera. But anyway, folks, I think this, to me, is the largest beach that I've personally ever seen. And especially on low tide, it just goes out for like a half a mile or something. It's just huge. But we're at high tide, so water comes in pretty far. But yeah, Cannon Beach. Real neat. Did you get a good picture?
I want to go across. You want to go across?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just gonna watch where I step because I don't want to get too wet. Let's see. And this is a slightly deeper area here. Oh, see, here comes a little wave. All right, got a little bit, might be a little bit wet, but you know, it's the nature of being on a beach. See how the water just got right up to here. But yeah, now we're on the other side of that little creek, getting closer to Haystack Rock. So this vlog, you guys have probably noticed, isn't like a usual vlog that you've seen where it's going to be all cut up and shortened. I'm kind of trying something else where basically for a solid, well, half hour or however long this lasts, it's just like you're hanging out with us today on this hazy day. Just want to see how people like it. I've seen vlogs like this where, you know, it's just someone continuously filming, and I tend to enjoy it because it just has something different. There's no music interrupting the moment. There's no, you know, cuts to kind of remove the good bits. It's just like you're enjoying, almost like you're there, you know. So I'm just gonna see how this turns out. There's Dad photographing the rock. It's a pretty cool view. So
I would like to get a view of that side.
oh, that far?
With the sun coming this way.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm getting a lot of sunset pictures.
Yeah, well, okay, we'll see. I don't know how much farther we have to walk to get to that point. So there's a hotel up there. And some large houses right up there on the rocks. Yeah, this is one of the coolest I don't know what to call it, like an environmental scene that I've ever seen with my own eyes. You know, like I said, it's the combination of the churning waters of the coast, the large rock in front of us towering like a mountain, the sun setting, the shine of the sunlight against the wet sand, and the haze, of course. It just makes for an amazing combination. So I think, oh, you can even see the shadow on the beach that Haystack Rock is casting. You'll get a good idea of how big across the rock is by how long it takes us to go from one side to the other of its shadow. I mean, even that hotel is cast in the shadow of the rock. So for those who are geology enthusiasts or rock enthusiasts, a lot of the rocks around the coastal Oregon area are basalt. So if you know what kind of rock that is, basalt. Now we're in the shadow of Haystack Rock. With my own eyes, I can kind of see some of the features of the rock too. But Dad wants to get to the other side, so we
Getting glare from the sun.
Yeah.
Camera, and it was casting like a green light on it.
Oh. This is pretty cool. Just the sun completely eclipsed by that giant rock. And like I said, it's huge. It's like 1,000 feet tall or something like that. And covered in little tiny trees. And we're actually probably about 20 minutes away from the city of Astoria. And Astoria is the city that the Goonies supposedly live in. You know, so if you ever want to see the Goonie house, that's in Astoria, and that's just about 20 minutes from here, further north. And supposedly the most recent owners of the Goonies house are very accommodating to people who want to come take a picture of it. Previous owners, not so much. See the water starting to come in again, so we just keep an eye on it. And there's the sun peeking out the other side of the rock. I think we're still going to keep going further just so he can try to get a picture of the rock without the sun in the way. That way there's no glare on the camera. I don't know how cold it is. I think it might be 47 degrees. Cold enough that you can kind of see your breath in the air. Oh, that's kind of a cool image. Oh yeah, the fog on that top of that hill, and the very peak of that mountain just kind of poking through the fog. Yeah, the fog here creates some incredible scenes. Oh, there's a little corgi. Now, supposedly, somewhere here on Cannon Beach, they found a what do you call it? A Spanish galleon? Is that what they? No, that's currency. A Spanish ship.
No, it's a galleon.
That's a galleon?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they found a Spanish galleon. Supposedly, some of the first people to have landed in the Pacific Northwest were the Spanish, and they came to this beach somewhere here, and the locals happened to be out at that time and saw them approach, and exchanged with them some, I want to say, either seal or whale blubber, I believe. So it's kind of like a gift to them. Although I could be getting the story a bit mixed up. It's hard for me to remember. I researched it something like a month ago or two. But supposedly, the Spanish galleon had remained here on the beach for a while, and that's kind of the inspiration for the Goonies, because of that story of the Spanish galleon kind of sitting here on the beach, and that's what the Goonies went out to try to find. Oh wow, you can see more than just the silhouette of the rock. You can see some of the features of the south side of the rock. My dad's gonna go further out there to get a better picture. I'm not in boots like he is, so my shoes will definitely get pretty wet if I go any further out, but I hope he remembers my advice to watch out for the water. But yeah, what an amazing scene here. And like I said, I hope you guys kind of like this vlog format. This is kind of how I want to vlog Europe when I eventually go to film there. I want to film vlogs, but I don't want to do it like a typical person films vlogs. I want to do it kind of like how some of the vloggers have been doing it, where they just film continuously and let you experience the same things in the same time and manner in which the vlogger themselves has experienced it. Water's coming back in. So, gosh, but just once again, just a beautiful scene. Just a beautiful scene. And even right now, with the sun setting, it's getting darker on the coast on that side. We still have a long drive to get back home. Lots of forests to pass through and stuff. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this camera is not staying perfectly level. There we go. I'll turn on the tilt lock feature. There we go. That way, no matter how I move the camera, it'll stay put. So, tilt lock feature on. I didn't want to do that before because if I saw anything on the beach that was of interest, I wanted to be able to point the camera down to show you, but since we're going to be walking back pretty much the same direction, I don't think that'll be a problem. So here he comes on the way back. It's just a beautiful... I'm going to take my sunglasses off. I want to see the rock with my own eyes. Pretty cool. That's neat. But now I'm going to put my glasses back on. Do a little bit of a selfie with the rock in the background. Pretty cool. I'm trying to get it in the shot. There we go. So anyway, maybe that'll be the thumbnail of the vlog. Is just kind of me against the rock. But yeah, so pretty interesting. I'm trying to think of things to say, but how much can you say when you're around nature like this? You're just awed and wowed so much. And it's funny, I'm not really much of an outdoors person either. That's the funny part. I like looking at nature, but ask me to go camping in the forest, I can't do it. I am scared to death of being attacked by a bear or something, which I know is probably silly. People say, oh, you take the right precautions, nothing bad will happen, but I've got the kind of luck where whatever can and all would happen, will happen. So, let's turn back to a view of the beach and the rock. I can feel the wind is kicking up a bit. So it might be kind of hard for you guys to hear me now. But there's a consistent wind coming from the north. So yeah. Maybe what I'll do is I will cut since I'm running out on battery on this thing, I'll cut the vlog here, and then when we go back into the city of Cannon Beach, where there's a little, oh wow, that was cool. I hope I got that on camera. This big wave just came crashing up. But I think what I'll do is I will pause the vlog here, and then when we get back into town and we walk down the main road, I will start it up again so you guys can see what the main road looks like, because it is a nice little beachside community, lots of restaurants and stuff, so I'll do that. Anyway, see you in a minute. Alright, you guys, so we reached the main part of town after probably a nice mile-long walk. But let me go ahead and turn the camera around so you guys can see. So, this is the main part of town. Lots of shops and restaurants and things. We're in the middle of winter, so it's actually not that busy here, but during spring and summer, there is just traffic all down the street. That's how busy it is. And there's lines out the doors for the restaurants. It gets real chaotic. But anyway, they got some of their Christmas decorations up. It's a really beautiful beachside city. All the buildings are made of wood. They got wood clapboards, wood shingles, all that kind of stuff. Some of them look like log cabins. It's really neat. So,
We'll show you Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, the musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know I told everybody I'd start filming again as soon as we got to the main part of town, so you can kind of see what it's like. And it's walkable, you know, the streets are walkable. It's not a particularly huge city. So you got a bookstore here on the left. What do we got right here? This is a taffy. Oh, it's a confectionery. It's a candy shop. Pretty cool. And I think we're looking for a fish and chips place.
Yeah, I think it's one more block.
Oh yeah, it's definitely up ahead. We almost ate there last time we were here. We were queuing up right outside the door. Little restaurant for breakfast and lunch. There's lots of breakfast and lunch places here. Oh, and supper? Yeah. There's the post office. So, oh look, a Christmas tree. Well, a tree decorated for Christmas. Oh, and this is it's a little shopping center, but it's all decked out for Christmas. Pretty cool. So there's all kinds of Christmas stuff being sold in the shops here. Sandpiper Square, that's what this place is called. So, Driftwood, it looks like a restaurant. There's a brew house right up here. A lot of these places are actually not open. You know, Oregon is one of those places where a lot of businesses close early. So you got to get there. Like, we arrived here, I'd say around 3 or 3:30. And the restaurant that I wanted to take my dad to, which is that one there on the corner, was already closed by then. So they have really good food. But the fish and chip shop is just up here on the left. We'll see if they're still open. To be honest, I think my battery will die before we even get there. But yeah, if it does die, then I'll just say right here and now, thank you guys for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this vlog here at the city of Cannon Beach in northwestern Oregon. Oh look, there's Santa waving at us. Oh, there's a fish and chips place. It's called Tom's Fish and Chips and Burgers. There's more shops down that way. There's like a little alleyway down there that continues on, and there's little shops in there. All closed for now. There's a bakery here, decked out in blue lights. And then there's the Oasis Cafe. Here's the fish and chips shop. It's empty. Oh, it says come on in, we're open. So here we go. One last view. All right, folks. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you all next time. Can you open the door for me?